trading meme coin for bigger returns. So we are going to chat about few meme coins in this video, see where do we buy, where do we sell, and which meme coin are the most relevant. So if you follow us, you know that we did like some cool trades on Pepe and mainly Pepe Bonk. And also like Brett, we had some alpha, I was in the folio. So on my side, I reduced significantly my Pepe exposure around here. Posted a photo in my public group, link in the description as always. And I think that for me, for Pepe, like I feel the risk reward is not the best. The other one is Bonk. I think Bonk is totally cooked. Like we had most of the growth and now the risk reward is not up there. So I prefer to rotate to other, to most relevant, I would say, meme coin opportunities. Then we did some alpha on Brett. Was very, very cool. We did like, I don't know, 40-50% trade, pretty straight. Like you enter the trade, you get in profit pretty fast. So that's the thing we like. So now it's like, which meme coin do we focus on? Which meme coin do we buy? And which meme coin like I expect, of course, not your financial advice, to overperform in the coming days and weeks, because that's the thing we want to look at. You know, we want to be always on the asset that overperform. So on the dynamic part of your portfolio, you want to be on the asset that overperform. So that's why I really like WIF. You know, I think WIF is very relevant. So I have a chart of WIF of like the green zone are like when we added, and like the red zone are when we like took profit. I think I exited a bit here also, like in spot, here a bit in spot. Here like I loaded like a long, so on perps, I took profit here, and here I did a bit more like in spot. So you see that's depending on like the opportunity. Sometimes I open a long, sometimes I open like on spot. Why here was like a cool long opportunities? Because this is where like a good timing, you know, to add some leverage. So you see like I'm adding leverage, sometimes on Bluffin, sometimes on other platform, but I really like Bluffin. This is like a test account, especially for the videos. So I can explain you a bit more. When basically like, for example, I think like I thought like the timing on WIF was pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, let's add on WIF and then play the long. So of course we got some luck because like we had like the Coinbase listing that we were kind of like expecting. So that's also like a thing very important in bull market, is trying to expect which coin have the highest probability to be listed and try to bet on that and like adapt your risk based on that. So that was something. So on WIF, I just added spots here, not a big part, just a part that I've sold around here. And I think if it goes lower, I will just add back the whole thing I've sold. So it's the same thing, you know, you could have said like, oh, I should have take profit everything here. But if we had known, it was like, it would be like easy, you know. But I still think we like have some room to grow, you know, and has some overperformance to take. So that's why like I'm following it closely, and I think it's very interesting to follow like WIF and its mem. So it's of course a big mem, but my point was to make like WIF compared to, I would say, Pepe and Bonk right now. That was kind of the idea. So now if we look at ETH BTC, we see that I think that's the same thing like I've told you like before. Until ETH overperform like Bitcoin, I think altcoin will have hard time running, and altcoin will have hard time like really overperforming the market. So we are like in this monkey zone where like what will happen, you know, it's very hard to predict. We had like this pump. I think many whales like took this like as an exit point and like exited the market, which dumped like so hard. And now we are like in the neutral zone. Another thing that is very interesting is Phantom that I'm monitoring closely. So if you're in the club, in the portfolio, high risk, we have like a Phantom allocation, but very low, like below 1%, I think something like that. And we have like entry price, exit price. And they are doing a rebranding pretty soon. And this rebranding could be cool. So again, I haven't dig like that much into this trade, but that's the thing, for example, I will do to generate some alpha, is like trying to understand what this rebranding is about. Is there like any token economic exchange, all these kind of things. And then if I'm like, okay, prices is good, doing some like charting, I'm like, okay, then I will enter it to a trade. But this is how you generate alpha, you know, just by looking at some coins on Twitter, getting some data, and then figure it out your plan. So Phantom will be perhaps a coin. I will perhaps like do a long on Bluffin. And when I do that, like I do some leverage and I try to juice, you know, and add like quite, not a lot of money, but kind of like a big part of my portfolio allocation. You know, so I could be like, okay, I'm opening like, let's say you have a 100K folio, I would be long like 5K on Phantom for like few days or like a week or two. So you can see like on technically speaking, it's not looking that good, looking a bit cooked, I would say. So like missing some juice, but like these news, this rebranding and everything could bring like some juice for the price to go up and go take like, I don't know, 30% trade by, you know, and so that could be very interesting. So that's something, for example, I would do, but I need to do more research. You know, that's all the same things. Like doing all this research take a lot of time. Another thing is like Solana ETF is coming, Solana slightly overperforming, so that's cool. And for everybody who were like in the trenches on Solana, like during the bear market, I think is deserved. Like we get like this ETF and prices keep going up because we will have some inflows. And I'm convinced that Solana ETF is probably coming next year and will be way more successful than Ethereum. The only thing with Solana here is like it starts to be like quite big in terms of valuation, but very interesting. Also ending up with two things. So I think like subtle dominance will grow in the coming weeks and months. For example, like you have this guy on Twitter shilling like Pepe. And I don't really believe in this trade because I feel like Pepe is a bit too high and like missing some juice, but perhaps I could be wrong, you know, that's the thing. But on my side, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be exposed to Pepe anymore. So I took profit on Pepe, getting back some dollars or like rotating to something else, you know. Where, for example, a guy shared that on Twitter and I kind of like liked it way better in terms of like we had this pump, dump, small like I would say accumulation phase, and then we can have another pump. Of course, it's just like predicting the market, right? We could be wrong. And that's the thing we try to do in the public, in the Rota chat, in the Rota like group, private alpha group. So I'm posting sometimes there, showing some of my conviction, you know, regarding the market. So I think I will add a link of the public group in the description, and if you want to join them, feel free. Then regarding some meme, it's always the same thing. Always a question I have quite often is like, what do we do when we had an alpha, it worked, and then we want to re-enter the alpha? So one alpha we did was on Billy, shared in like multiple groups. So we did like, I don't know, like a 2x kind of. So we don't took like the whole movement, like we missed like this part, but like we don't really care, you know. So we did the move, got out, and you know, that's the cool thing is like it smashed quite a lot. So you're like happy like to have take profit, you know. That's why we want to time the market and focus really in trying to time the market. That's why you say main thing. Everybody will keep telling you like don't time the market and everything, but if you don't do that, then for me like it's almost impossible to make money. You have to time the market. And on Billy, you know, like people were chatting in the alpha group and saying in the Rota group, to Rota for rotate, of course, should we enter back here? And I was like, you know, a bit confused because we had the alpha, and when we have an alpha successful on a coin, most likely I prefer to move on to another coin. But it was looking interesting, so grabbed a small Billy bag here, but I think it will miss a bit of juice, and I will probably like take profit like around here to just like move to another coin. But if it flies, like I would be okay with that too, you know. That's kind of like the thing. Another one, like I think we all monitor it closely because we could get like, I don't know, coin-based listing or whatsoever, is Popcat. It's definitely looking topish here, like not showing much juice and everything, but it starts to be interesting because I think from the high we had 25% up to 30%. So of course these are meme coins. It's kind of like a big meme coin, but I think it could go down 50-60% in like few weeks and still be like bullish or still have like the same strong fundamental. But yeah, that's the one I'm monitoring closely. I hope it will go down. So we had like a small short, like open at 1.9, something like that. I think it took profit, but way too fast, like 1.65, yeah. But yeah, it's part of the game, it's still money. But yeah, that's the one I'm monitoring closely. And I have shared in this rotate group a strong conviction I have on the meme coin, like I think lower than 150 million FDV, 1 million FDV, something like that. But yeah, that was it. But feel free, guys. Feel free. You have my Bluefin link in the description. You have 20% fees off using my link. It's a way to support like my videos and everything. And go try Bluefin. Go try with $100. Make sure you understand. I did a video just before this video about how to use leverage. Interesting thing with fundings. Why to use spot, when to use future. I think I gave like a bit more like details and alpha in this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon for another like trading or like, I don't know, market update.